Howdy y'all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, I am ready to take our planned trip to the south. Southwest, I believe, is the direction I was going to head. Of course, I'm going to have to make sure to pick up enough fuel along the way to keep me going. Although I did notice that it's day 14, so tonight could be interesting. Well, not this episode, because it's going to take us longer than one episode to get there. But, yeah. I've been man, this cold, I tell you, never going away. No, it's a little better today. It was pretty bad, day was it? Tuesday, I want to say. And, so I am... just wish it was gone at this point. We, we skipped Monday Night D&D because I didn't want to try to talk for multiple hours with this thing. And then, we didn't get to play for the Wednesday night game either because the DM's girlfriend fell down. Apparently. And he was going to wait for her at the hospital. He still hasn't commented on my class. I'm just assuming he's not even going to look at it at this point, which I find humorous. He sent me a bunch of stuff the last few days for me to look at for him, but, you know, I asked him to look at something. Ugh, no. Not going to happen. Not going to happen because it didn't do his... You know, he sent me this thing today was this guy he follows who was talking about how his Kickstarter failed and how he's sorry that he wasn't able to complete his Kickstarter. I'm just like, dude, why are you sending me stuff on that guy? You know I don't like that guy. And he's like, but I feel like his apology is heartfelt. Yeah, but I don't like that guy. I don't care about his apology, and I had nothing to do with any of his stuff. And so I don't know why you're sending me this, but I thought his apology was a good apology. I don't need to hear an apology for something that had nothing to do with me from a guy I don't like. I don't know why you can't understand this. But it was a good apology. I'm like, alright, fine, let's discuss it then. Let's discuss the fact that I already know some of the stuff that went down behind the scenes with this because you sent it to me. I don't feel his apology was heartfelt. Some gadget guy making some kind of... or claimed he was going to make some gadget. Didn't happen. I'm going to assume that my DM put money in the Kickstarter, and that's why he's so interested in it. Because he keeps sending me stuff about it. Well, today they finally said there would be no product forthcoming, so... It was a good apology, though. At least he gave back something. I'm like, yeah, well, you can give back the $250,000 he stole. That's not how Kickstarter works. That is why it's pretty rare for me to kickstart something, honestly. Nope. You know what? I don't think I've ever kickstarted anything. I might have kickstarted this. but I'm pretty sure I just waited till it came on Steam. Uh, I might not have kickstarted it. Maybe I bought it off the website. I think that's what I did. I bought this off their website, and then they sent the Steam code because it came to Steam the day it came out. That's probably what I did. I know I had it before it came to Steam, but I don't think I kickstarted it. I think I actually probably would have, but I didn't know about the Kickstarter because I don't go to Kickstarter ever. There was a thing that I almost kickstarted that got removed before I could pull the trigger, and that was the remake of Hero Quest, which is my favorite board game ever, and my copy is so worn and old that I was excited to see a new version of it, so I could get a new version of it to play, and it got canceled from copyright because obviously the company who hasn't made a new copy of it since the 80s or 90s, whenever it came out. I think it came out in the 80s, but they're still making it in the 90s maybe. But they haven't made a new copy in like 20 years, so obviously they still need to hang on to those rights with an iron fist. Just in case someday they decide to go ahead and, reissue a board game they have no interest in, so that nobody can ever play it. I mean, I do, because I still have my original copy, and I still have pretty much all the pieces for it. There's some broken ones now, though. It's the reason why. Like, you get stuff that's really cool, like, these unique board games, and they've got all these pieces, and you try to keep it all together and nice. And because people won't watch their children, and their children have no manners, your stuff gets broken. And nobody cares. And they're just like, oh, well, your piece got broken. It's just a game. But it's not just a game. It's my thing that I've kept for decades. It's not okay. And yes, I am a little bitter about it. Why is this not just staying up? Oh, you know what? Because I normally don't do it this way. I normally do it this way. I know my nephew broke the sword off of... Now, alright, so the game comes out in, I don't know, let's say 1989. Somewhere in there. I have it. I have all the pieces to it. Nothing's broken, except the box it came in is worn at the edges and one of the corners is ripped apart from wear and tear. And that's it. Everything else is together. And, and I've had this game since I was a kid. And then my brother and his kids play it, and then his kid breaks the sword off of one of the warrior characters. Now I've had that in prime condition, basically. We did paint some of the figures, so I mean they aren't, mint or anything like that. I'm not trying to keep it mint or anything. Like, I understand wear and tear from playing it, but he just sat there and flicked the sword until it broke off. Why would you do that? And then there's a gargoyle that's now in pieces, and they just snapped the wings off that here about 4 months ago, I think. It's like, why? Why would you think it'd be okay to take someone else's stuff and just ream on it until it broke? I don't go to other people's house and break their stuff. Anyways. I don't want to come to a dust town, dang it. I want a nice place to explore. I I want a place with roads. This place doesn't even have roads. I will stop here. Whoa, I drove right through that tree. That was crazy. I will stop here and explore your Shotgun Messiah, though. Never know, they might have good deals here or something, right? But yeah, it was, we didn't play D&D on Sunday, we didn't play D&D on Monday, we didn't play D&D on Wednesday. I didn't play D&D last Wednesday, last Sunday, so we played for about an hour the Saturday before that. Yeah, I'm missing my D&D. I gotta remember, I want lead. Lead. Or bullets. I'll take bullets, actually. Bullets is probably... Can you get lead from batteries? I bet you can. Nighttime for you. I currently do not need plastic. Whoa. Where'd you come from? You wanna hit this guy, or... magically appearing zombies? Ah. Will you hit this guy? Thank you. Problem is I swing this club, and in my head, I think it will swing. Like, there's an arc to it or something. Get out of here. And there's not really, which makes me have issues. Oop. That was close. You almost got me. Right. Oh. Hi. I'm sure somewhere in there she died, but I just kept swinging away. Man, I watched part of the net neutrality hearing today, which I was just dumbfounded by some of the things they were saying. I only listened to the very tail end of it. I think there's only 3 or 4 people on this net neutrality board, and 3 of them had already spoken. One of them was about to finish, and then the head of the FCC gets to talk, and so that's all I really saw was the head of the FCC talk, and I'm just like, dude, how can you make a decision on net neutrality when you are mixing up even what net neutrality is? It was bizarre. There was a point where he says that allowing people to choose what goes on their web page is a threat to the freedom of the internet. I mean, that's slightly summarized from the way he said it, but he gave an example of a company. A company has a web page, and that company does not support smoking, and so it's a threat to the freedom of the internet for that company to stop smoking ads, basically, from being on their web page. I'm like, nobody's stopping the smoking whatever from having its own web page. That's what it means to have a free internet. You don't have to allow other people to put stuff on your web page. What are you even saying? Like, you want the government to regulate what people put on their web pages? That's what it sounded like to me. Uh, and the other trick to that, though, the real trick to that is that why are you comparing what's on a web page to the hardware that makes up the internet? Because net neutrality was about hardware, and who has access to that hardware. Nobody's talking about what's on their web pages. So you're not even sure what you're talking about, but you get to cast the deciding vote. And I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, these people, it's seriously, I like to bring up the stories. I saw a good one this week. I don't talk about politics. I really don't, and I shouldn't talk about politics, but I gotta talk about. I got a couple of stories I want to tell. there's a there's this guy. He's a senator or a congressman. I don't know which. I didn't pay that much attention. Don't even know what his name is. But the dude stood up. Federal, whatever. The dude stood up and said that he was opposing the bill to expand the military base in Guam, because if they expand the military base in Guam, then more people from the island will move closer to the naval base because there will be more jobs available. And if enough of the population moves to that side of Guam, the island will flip over. And he wasn't being funny. He believed that. He believed the island would flip over. I'm not saying you can't have an island that's going to flip over. Because there are some, there are like some floating trees and stuff that kind of grow their own islands and then they float around. That's a thing. But Guam's not one of those. And it can't flip over because it's rock sticking out of the ocean. It doesn't work that way. I'm just like, if you're not smart enough to chew gum and walk, I don't understand how you get elected as an official. It's not just there either. Our local government is just as bad. The people that got elected where I live. Let's just say I don't fit in with the people who vote here, because the last election that I participated in was the presidential election last year, and there wasn't anything to vote on for our elections this year, so I didn't go. I think we got to vote on whether or not they increase sheriff patrols in the county. That was it. That was the only thing on our ballot. And you know what? I didn't care one way or the other. It was like an extra $1 on my property taxes a year. That was it. Like, ooh, okay, $1. I really don't care one way or the other for $1. And so But then you can look at like how much how many people voted for the same things you voted for, and man, I'll tell you what, looking at that is depressing to me because it's not good. Uh, I want to say there's like 4,000 voters in my county, something like that, which is tiny. I know. It's probably more than that. Uh, it's got to be more than that because the city nearby is 10,000. Um, although maybe part of that's in the next. Oh, you know what? I'll bet it's 4,000 in my district, my little district thing that I'm in, and of the 5,000 ish people that voted, about 400 voted the same way I did. Uh, yeah. I'm like, yep. So glad I took the time to go to the polls. Cast my one vote against the 4,000 others. Yeah. But, yeah. Alright, I'm going to stop talking about politics now. I just. I got so fed up with it today. It made me angry. Uh. Ooh, I'm going to pop into these places too. I said I wasn't going to loot here, and then I just hung around. I should probably unload some of this stuff, though, so I got room. I didn't want you to get on it. I wanted you to open your trunk. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to get some D&D in this week, and maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday we'll get a chance to play. I don't know. Looks like next week, though. Next week is going to be potentially super busy with D&D because we're going to do last Monday is this Monday. Uh, the guy who runs Wednesday wants to play an extra session next week to make up for this week. And the only nights it seems like everybody can meet are the night we normally do it and the night before. So we might play 2 nights in a row. Yep. I figure I got was thinking I was supposed to play over Christmas break with my brother and his family, possibly. And I think I got one more gift to get yet before I'm done with my Christmas shopping. I was gonna wait until after my next paycheck, but my next paycheck comes in on like the 22nd, so I might need to finagle some finances around a little bit, dip into my savings for that last gift. I oh, I don't think I told this story. I'm pretty sure I did. Nope. You know what? I don't think I did. I got one more story for you. So, I sometimes wonder if my family is just afraid of trying to do things on their own, and so they the freezer has ice on it, right? I don't know. It's a freezer. I'm not a appliance repairman. I have no idea. And so my sister is like, I need you to take a look at the freezer. I'm like, oh yeah, what's wrong? She's like, It has ice on the inside of it. I'm like, okay, does it need to be defrosted or something? I really don't know. I don't know anything about. I barely understand how it works, honestly. Not that I couldn't, just that I've never taken the time to learn how a freezer works. I don't care. It's not something I was interested in. And she's like, well, I don't think it should have ice at the top. I'm like, okay. And it does. It has like icicles right in one corner. And I'm like, well, maybe the seal's going bad. It's pretty old. And if the seal's going bad, then air is getting in there, and maybe you need to get a new seal for it. And we can pull off the old seal and put a new one on. And she's like, I don't think that's it. Why do you people ask me what might be wrong with something and then disagree with every answer I give? I'm like, fine. Well, I don't know what to tell you then because that would be my only thought. And if you don't think it's that, then I don't know how to fix it. I just don't know. I don't know what would be causing it because everything's frozen. There's just some icicles at the top right corner. And so she comes back to me later and she's like, I'm pretty sure it's because when a bunch of us put our shoes on, we grabbed that corner of the freezer while we put our shoe on. I'm like, okay, I guess that could be it. I don't know. I don't really care. As long as the food I want to eat isn't bad, I don't care. And so she got really mad at me because I wouldn't fix the freezer. I don't know what she wanted me to do about it, but I don't know why she couldn't fix the freezer. I just don't. So I want to say it was Sunday. Sunday, my mother comes to the table for dinner and she's like, I need you to look at the freezer. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It leaks. It has icicles. It doesn't leak. It has icicles in the corner. And she's like, no, all the food in the door is starting to thaw. I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, I need you to look at it and see why it's doing that. And I'm like, okay. And so before I can do it, one of the other ones goes in there to take a look. They'd unplugged it the day before. It was all the food in the freezer was starting to thaw. Not like get warm. It was still cold. It just wasn't solid blocks of ice. And I'm just like, yep, one of y'all, you have the situational awareness of a stick. One of y'all pulled something from next to the freezer. You unplugged the freezer. You knew you unplugged the freezer because how else? Like, you know, you got tangled up in the cord and then you didn't even look at the cord to make sure it was still plugged into the outlet. And I'm pretty sure it was her. I'm pretty sure it was my mother that did it. But she couldn't be bothered to look. And so, if we hadn't used the freezer on Sunday, all the food in the freezer could have gone bad. Which includes all the meat that we just bought. Which is super, super expensive. And so we were pricing freezers before somebody went and looked. Because I'm like, well, if it's not working, then we just need to get a new one since it's already has icicles in it. And, but yeah, that cracks me up. Like, had to have known how. I mean, it's not possible not to know that you've unplugged the freezer. It's not like you don't know you got tangled up in the cord somehow. Nobody just walked over, stuck their arm behind the freezer, and pulled the plug. No, it was when she was getting the mop out from behind the freezer when it happened. I know that's how it happened. And, nope, not her problem. Not her problem. Somebody else can be bothered with plugging it back in. She probably just didn't even glance, or just glanced, saw that it was still sort of plugged in, figured that was good enough. That's like, I've shut the stove off 3 nights in a row. after I was done eating my dinner because the person who cooked dinner left the stove on after they were finished and just walked away. I swear they're going to burn the house down one of these days. I confronted my nephew too this week. I talked about I leave my door open at the top of the stairs, just like not open, just not all the way closed. When I'm going to, put my dishes in the dishwasher, grab a glass of water, and turn around and go back down. I don't know why. It's just a habit I have because I guess I don't really like the noise of the door being opened and closed, and because it's loud, and I don't like loud, and so every time somebody goes through and slams the door shut, I guess I should just do it so I don't have to listen to slam the door shut, and so I'm standing there with the glass of water I had gone to get in my hand. I took 2 steps toward the door, and my nephew comes through and slams the door shut. And it just keeps on walking. And I'm like, dude, why do you do that? Why do you shut the door why do you shut this particular door? I'm like, you leave the outside door open. You just left the lights on in 2 different rooms down the way you just came from. Are you going back in there? No. Well, why didn't you shut those lights off? I don't know. Why you shut my door? Don't worry about my door. Worry about your door. Drive me crazy. Well, I think I've just about talked myself hoarse here. And didn't really get too much useful done. I did pick up some lead. 153 lead. So that's not terrible today. And I wish I could stop driving into these dust clouds. I do not enjoy the dustiness. It's too dark, can't see. I just say that and sometimes you're driving along the road and all of a sudden it turns into a big hole in the ground and you wind up in a tunnel underground. I don't appreciate that. Yeah. Nope. We're right on the edge, man. We're hovering between dusty and not dusty. Yeah, and you remember when the terrain was this will be my last thing, but you remember when the terrain in when they first started the pre-gen was chunks surrounded by rivers? So every time you reached a river, you reached the next terrain. Not like that anymore. I also remember when 00 was a city. I kind of missed that. Alright, well, I'm going to call it here. So click like if you like. Ooh. Subscribe, be sure and catch the next one. And we'll try not to run over a wolf. I will talk to you later. Let's try to see if there's anything good in this little town down here. It's probably where we'll pick back up next time, so.